Welcome back to Strictly Money. I'm here with Stephen Moranis, real estate strategist and columnist. Stephen, before this last break, we were talking about fees, the fees that are paid to real estate agents. Would it make sense then for home buyers, in a way to protect themselves, to pay their own fees? Because right now it's baked in. Um, it's the seller who really pays both sides of the real estate fees, technically.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, well, practically agreed. Technically, practically, the buyer's paying all the fees because all the fees are built into the purchase price. I think it would be a positive outcome that buyers can negotiate directly with full disclosure with their agent to come up with what a fair compensation or fee for their services would be. And that is the subject of class actions throughout North America, because only in North America are the fees bundled. The rest of the world, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Italy, Israel, England, you basically deal with an agent who represents you as a buyer's agent. You deal with an agent who represents you as a seller's agent. And it wouldn't really affect MLS. MLS could be still a marketplace posting all listings for sale, but the seller's agent wouldn't be offering from the seller any commission to the buyer's agent. And the industry has done a good job to cover this up. For example, if they were open and transparent, why wouldn't the fees offered to the buyer's agent be disclosed on the MLS listings in the public website? So no one knows that, I'm showing you houses. One could be offering me 3% or 2.5% or whatever, because typically what the agent says, oh, don't worry, you don't have to pay the fees. They're built into, the seller's paying them. Well, you're really paying them all, right? And no one knows what the seller's paying their own agent, right? Because that is not disclosed. So there's a lack of disclosure all across the board. The one thing that would have to practically happen is lenders would have to recognize, look, you buy a house in Toronto, land transfer tax is 4%, right? You buy a house for a couple million, it's up to 4%, and our new mayor is talking about raising that. So you're talking $80,000 roughly that I believe direct closing costs in a transaction, such as land transfer tax, if you've got to pay fees, your buyer's agent, direct costs could be included in your mortgage financing, and that will have to change.
That's very interesting. I want to talk about some of the terms and conditions as well.
Sure.
Because I see this, they're like, oh, you don't want to waive home inspection. We encourage you not to do that. Okay, but Stephen, in reality, when there is a very competitive market and there's tight supply, you don't really leave buyers a choice. So do we need new rules around this?
Well, BC has implemented a cooling off period for resale houses. So it's a 5-day cooling off period. It's sort of, it's anticlimactic. So say you got 20 people bidding on a house, forget about the open bidding or not open bidding, someone wins, and then you got a 5-day cooling off period. Are you going to report that sold? Because it's a firm sale with a cooling off period, which you have in condominiums, right? There's 20-day cooling off period. That's probably what's best interest. That would definitely take away from the pressure, and there'd probably be a 10 or 20%, incidence of deals, people walking away after a firm deal if there was a cooling off period. So I think it's something that needs more study, and it's not a bad concept. And really, to buy a property without a proper home inspection or even an appraisal or even satisfactory financing being obtained is kind of risky. It's generally the biggest purchase anyone makes in their lifetime, and you're putting all this pressure and risk on these individuals. Is that right?
Well, and it's also interesting because, and I'm not sure how this works, Stephen, but if you do get 20 offers and you're going through it, say, well, this person's bidding without any conditions, what's to stop anyone from taking that?
That's right. You're going to take the highest price with no conditions, which means you got to do a pre-home inspection and lay out, $1,000 or whatever to do a home inspection before you present your offer, and make sure everything is tidied up, your financing and everything else, and even maybe search title to see if there's, any liens on the property or any outstanding work orders, if it's a new home with the municipality. I mean, there's a whole bunch of contingencies that come up